boys and girls, children of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes, parents and grandparents, teachers of Buddhist Sunday school and Dhamma classes. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. For this lesson, we are going to have another moral story for kids. Very suitable for children in the primary school as well as maybe lower secondary school, and also maybe youth members and also adults who are still young at heart, or the parents and grandparents who are educating the young ones in terms of morality. Now we have this PowerPoint with the text in English and Bahasa Malaysia or Malay, but the narration and explanation will be in English. Now this presentation has the various pictures so that you can understand the story better. Now I will go over the story based on the slides, and at the end, after the story has finished, we will look at the most important slide, and that is the Dhamma lessons that you can learn, or we all can learn together. All right. Now, as usual, we will have this PowerPoint, but before that, let me check the setup to make sure it is okay. All right. So now let us launch the PowerPoint. You can see this cover slide, and there are various pictures that pertain to the story. I've not told you the title of the story yet. Now, a moral story for kids. Sebuah kisah moral untuk kanak-kanak. Also the young at heart lah. Now, as you would probably realize, this story concerns a donkey and the owner, and then at the marketplace, and then crossing a river, and then what happens later on lah. So this is an animated thing to encourage reading. So when you start reading, whether from a book or from this PowerPoint, then you can gain lots of benefits. Apart from knowledge, you can improve your language. And then your mind expands into very great horizons. You know so many things. So I hope you have not been reading, that you start reading, a very important thing. Now let us go on to slide number 2. Now you have the title of this moral story. It is quite a famous story. You find it all over, even at the YouTube in different forms. But we are using this format, which is quite different from the usual one in terms of PowerPoint presentation, and then reading over the text and explaining, and animation is kept to a minimum so that you will not be so distracted. I don't favor those movies that have very many actions, and then you'll be so taken by all those actions and the fast moving pictures, and you lose sight of the text and the explanation. That's why I decide to use this method. Now, the lazy donkey. This is a donkey, I think you know, huh? All right, let us go on to the story itself. A salt merchant lived in a small village. Now, this merchant is saudagar lah. So he sort of trades in salt lah, garam lah, right? Or you can say common salt. And he would buy the salt, and then after that he would sell at the marketplace or some other places. So he was a merchant dealing with salt. And perhaps he would also sell to the shopkeepers or other people. Every day, he walked to the city to buy salt, right? To buy salt because he's a merchant doing business involving salt or garam. And he had a donkey. And this donkey would always accompany him. You could see the donkey. And this donkey probably had worked for him for quite some time already. And the main work of the donkey was to carry the loads of salt, and then he would go back to the village to sell the salt, to distribute to the other sellers or whatever lah. That is his business. So this is the start of the story. Now let us go on to slide. The next slide is slide number 4 already. So one day, as usual, he had bought the various bags of salt from the city or town, and then he started to load the bags of salt on the donkey. As you can see the picture, you can get a clearer idea. These bags contain common salt, white in color. And I think salt is utilized in our cooking, but do not eat or do not take too much salt. Too much salt is not good for health because it is one of the causes for developing high blood pressure or hypertension, right? But then most food will have a little bit of a salt, a little bit you find is essential also. And then he started walking back to the village, and it was along the river, right? So their route, or the pathway was along a river, probably a distance. The story did not say how long the city from the village. So it's walking along the river bank, right? Walking on and on. Something happened. You might wonder what happened. Let us see the next slide. The next slide will now be slide number 5. Okay. But the donkey did not like to carry so many bags on his back, as he was lazy. That's why the title is The Lazy Donkey. Actually, a donkey usually, has the work of helping to carry the luggage or bags of goods. Sometimes also, certain people will ride on the donkey. A child or maybe a person, hopefully not too heavy, poor donkey. Right? Just as a horse. Ancient times, though, people, wow, they use the horse. And they use, I've seen so many movies where they use the horses, riding on the horses for battle, and sometimes the horses, I felt very, very compassionate towards the horses, carrying all these soldiers and all those warriors, battle, and those days they would use swords, and then spears, arrows, all those things, and sometimes they will hurt the horses will fall, and then they will kill them. It's terrible. So to be born as a horse, it's a real great suffering, I feel, right? Whereas, of course, some horses are more lucky today. You find in zoos or in parks, sometimes they are used to let people have a horse ride, right? And then some horses have to run in the horse racing, all types of poor horses. So anyway, this donkey was a lazy donkey. He detested carrying, say, your inside. So heavy, the bags, every time also like that. It was a lazy one. Other donkeys didn't complain, but this donkey complained. He did not say to the owner, he couldn't speak. You see. But in some stories, as you know, as some fables, they could speak. But this one, he kept quiet. He was thinking to himself. So he was thinking of ways, how can I get rid of this type of work, right? How can I make the work easier? I'm very fed up of this type of work already. I must think of a way. So one day, as usual, the merchant bought the 2 bags of salt, and then put on the back of the donkey as usual. And again, as usual, started walking back to the village along the river bank. All right, river bank. So they did not actually have to cross the river. It was just from village to the city on the same side of the river lah. So one day the donkey not concentrating lah, not mindful lah, because he was getting fed up, negative mind thinking of this, thinking of that. This kind of lousy work. How I wish I could get rid of this work. So he accidentally fell into the river. On the way, the donkey accidentally slipped into the river. This is what happens to some people also. When they're walking along the road, they are not mindful, thinking of this and that, and they fall into the longkang. Or some, they kick a stone and fall down. Some I've seen people also are walking into maybe a lamppost. All sorts of things. Usually it's because we are not mindful. Our mind is thinking of this, thinking of that. We are not paying attention to our walking. What is ahead of us, what is at the side, the whole environment. You have to do that. You have to be very careful. And many accidents happen because of this carelessness, heedlessness, no mindfulness, crossing roads lah, not even crossing road, walking along the road also. You are not mindful. You go too near the center, then another vehicle can knock you down. And they do that because they are thinking of something else already. So this is what happened actually. The donkey accidentally slipped into the river. But it was not really a very deep river, right? So the donkey did not drown or something like that, right? This is the animation to show you the donkey, right? So the pictures will help to enhance the understanding. So let us now go on to the next slide, which is slide number 6. So when the donkey with the 2 bags of salt, right, fell into the river or slipped into the river, now the salt, upon contact with water, would dissolve, isn't it? You know that common salt is soluble in water. So when you put water to salt, then the salt will dissolve and it will be lost. You can actually recover, but then how are you going to recover from the river? Isn't it? From a bowl of salt water, maybe you can evaporate the water off and then get back the salt. But this one you can't, you see. So the owner had to pull out the donkey lah. But because most of the salt, nearly all the salt had dissolved away by the river water already, the donkey fell. Wah, sekarang sangat ringan lebih ringan lagi, sangat baik. He was thinking to himself like that, right? So what will happen? So the owner, couldn't get the salt already, isn't it? So got to go back and buy another 2 bags or something like that, isn't it? At this time, you just sort of be more careful to make sure that the donkey did not get too near the river, along the river bank, right? Because probably there is a good pathway, right? So it was along the river bank. Many of us do walk along the seaside, along river banks, isn't it? But not too near. So what happened next now? That's the exciting part. So now we go to slide number 7. So as I said, the salt merchant had to go back to the city to buy more salt. He was a bit fed up already. You're losing money, isn't it? Businessman and all, right? Well, the donkey learned from what it experienced. No, he said, I found a good idea to get rid of the load. When I go into water, somehow or other, the load will become lighter. Of course, he would not understand the science of salt dissolving in water. He said, hey, very good. But he didn't tell the owner. He couldn't speak also. So the next day, as usual, right? So the salt merchant and the donkey were walking along the river bank to go back. And this time, the donkey purposely, slip into the river. He purposely went near to the edge. It was too fast for the merchant to control the animal. So he purposely slipped into the river again, right? So, of course, the owner got to pull the donkey out. Otherwise, the donkey died, then the owner will lose the whole donkey. Lots of money to buy a donkey. So when he was pulled out, he felt very much better. So light already. But this salt merchant knew. He was not stupid. He saw through the donkey's trick. That means he knew the donkey was purposely slipping into the river or falling into the river deliberately, with intention, dengan sengaja tergelincir ke dalam sungai. So then the merchant, you see, he said, I have to teach this donkey a lesson, because he knew already that donkey, he knew that donkey was falling into the river on purpose. So he was not happy. This cartoon showed that his anger. This one of the man. All these are just to help you to understand. So let us see what happens next. And that is going to slide number 8. Right? Slide number 8. Now let us see now number 8. So one day, so this merchant is quite smart, He had to think of a way How can I stop this monkey from playing this trick every time? Then it involves me a waste of my time, and then I lose money. I have to go back and rest first. Next day, go and buy again, and then load the donkey, not the monkey. Load the donkey with the bags of salt, and the purposely will go near the riverbank and then to slip into or to fall into, purposely fall there. How can I prevent this? But I have to do my business. Without the donkey, I'm going to carry the 2 bags of salt, which actually are not really light also. The merchant, you think you buy just half a kilogram or 1 kilogram. It'll be very much more, isn't it? He's a businessman. So then he thought of an idea. So then, you know what he did? He got ready already. He got ready the bags of cotton. He got ready the bags of cotton. So then he put the cotton. This time, he did not buy the salt. He did not buy the salt. Right? He went to the city probably, right? And maybe he bought the cotton from the market. The details of the story were not given. But anyway, what he did was, instead of filling the bags with the salt, he filled the bags with the cotton. This trip he did this way in order to teach the donkey a lesson. So he deliberately filled the bags with the cotton. And cotton is very light, isn't it? It's white in color, right? And some properties of cotton, right? I think many of you have used cotton wool. You use cotton wool when you have a wound on your skin or any part of your body, then you put yellow lotion, acroflavine, antiseptic, and then you go over the wound to clean the wound. So what the cotton is like, right? So then he started walking back, but this time, right, the donkey was carrying bags of cotton, isn't it? And cotton, of course, is very much lighter than salt, right? Very much lighter. So the donkey, of course, the donkey, donkey is not a human being, intelligent. It's very, very stupid, That's why you say you're an ass. You are a donkey or a mule. You think, don't be a donkey. That means trying to tell you, don't be stupid, right? Stubborn also sometimes. So the donkey felt, how come this time, the bags are so much lighter, than previous days, no. But the donkey, being a very lazy donkey, and then stupid, and then greedy. So he wanted to reduce the weight even more because he got this stupid idea, right? That if you go into the river water, then after that, when I come out, of course you'll be pulled out, lah, right? Not that heavy. I'm not sorry, not that deeper. Not that deep, not that deep. So he knew that when you pull out, then he will feel even much lighter. Wouldn't that be good? So he wanted to reduce the weight even more, not contented that his load was already getting lighter because of cotton. But he actually didn't know what was inside, actually. Everything all bundled up, everything. His job was to transfer the load easily. So, as usual, walking along the bank, he purposely slipped into the river again. River again. Actually, it was the trick, lah. So I put in the animated. I couldn't get a picture of a donkey falling into the river. You asked me to draw the animated. I don't have the talent. If any young people want to volunteer, let me know. No money paid to you. No, it's just dana, no, to help people to read, to be get interested. That is a good action you can do. But so far, I cannot get anybody to volunteer to draw a picture or things like that. So, ladies cartoon, I put in something. Dirty trick, lazy donkey, tipu, kotoran, keledai yang malas. Scolding the monkey, But actually, there was no person like that, right there. Just putting in just to let you have an idea, to make it more interesting. So, what happens next now? Number 9 now. But what happens to cotton when it gets wet? The cotton will not dissolve, It's actually cellulose. And it doesn't dissolve. In fact, it will soak the water. It will soak syrup. You soak a lot of water, So now the donkey will find that he'll be carrying the bags of cotton, wet cotton that is much heavier than dry cotton. So when it was pulled out, wow, he felt the load on his back felt much heavier, no. Aiyo, so terrible. As I have explained just now, as the bags contain cotton, when they fell into the water along with the donkey, the cotton absorbed the water and the bags became heavier. Lebih berat. I just show the animation, you see. Suffering with even the heavier load of the wet cotton. But the donkey couldn't figure out what was happening when he just felt the suffering experience like that. So it was a very good lesson, isn't it? Right? So what will happen in the end? The donkey learned the lesson. So you could see the donkey cry. The lazy donkey had to carry the heavier load. He had to suffer more. He realized his mistake of trying to cheat the merchant. The merchant was an intelligent person. Of course, men are more intelligent. We have a mind, a brain that can think. Whereas animals, no, they can hardly think. Very little, they couldn't, they can't. So that's why you know that being born in the animal reign is a suffering state, right? A suffering state. Sometime the last time I was teaching in Dhamma classes, so I was talking about, rebirth into different states or different realms. I say the most suffering one is the hell realm. Then the next one is the animal realm. And then also the ghost realm, history. And then some books would even add one more Azura. Azura, the demons, always full of anger, violence, all these suffering states. But if you want to concentrate on what was in the original scriptures, they say about these three. So no, a few of my students ask, they say, teacher, I want to be an animal. I want to be reborn as an animal. I was quite surprised that the students said like this. I say, why do you want to be reborn as an animal. Wow, you see, I want to be reborn as a bird. Because you see, the bird, I can fly. I cannot fly. I can fly here, I can fly there, and I can look for food. So it's so nice when I fly on top, I can see what is below. I can see a nice view. No, so nice to be born as a bird. So I listen, then I have to explain later on, right? So I listen to the kids telling first. Then another one, I say, what about you? What about you? Uh, Ong Chong Bing, his name Ong Chong Bing. Ong Chong Bing, what do you think? What do you like to be reborn as? Hey, teacher, I want to be reborn as a fish. Oh, you see, so no need to do homework also. No need to go to school. I have seen my house got aquarium, right? And I see the goldfish. Well, we will feed the fish every time, one day a few times with the fish food, So he will swim here, swim there with his other friends. And then sometimes, he will go around the water plants that we put. And then we change the water. Wow, such a nice life. No need to every time do homework, wake up early to go to school and all this. I want to be reborn as a fish. Then I had to take time to explain to them why the animal realm is a suffering state. Right? Like say, for example, the birds. Do you know? You don't understand the whole thing. Birds are always very frightened and scared. Have you seen the birds on the ground pecking at some paddy or grains? As they peck, they try to look around because why? They are afraid there will be bigger animals like cat or even bigger birds coming, and then will catch the birds and eat them, right? And eat them. And they won't die one shot. No, these animals, bigger animals will peck at their bodies and everything. So slowly they suffer until they die. Is that very nice? Or even they are flying. You are a small bird, there are always other bigger birds that prey on the smaller birds. So the big birds will chase you, and then catch you, and then bring you back, like the eagle brings you back to his home. Wow, other people are having a nice feast on you. No, it's terrible, isn't it? And when there's a heavy storm, you think you can go into the house and sleep on your bed, and you can't, right? So you will be suffering, so wet, and then you try to go to the tree, and then sometimes it's also not easy to find a suitable tree. You'll be all wet, suffering. And then sometimes it's so very, very cold, You think you can put on a jacket, You can't, right? And it's very, very hot. You think you can go for a swim, or you go to an aircon, A lot of suffering. You don't know. It's terrible. Wow, that's good. Teacher, I don't want to be reborn as a bird. And then after that, I explained to Ong Chong Ming. I say, you want to be a fish? Wow, you don't know. How do you know that you'll be reborn as a fish, a goldfish, and then rich people will buy you and take care of you? Most of the fishes are on the seas, in the ocean. The fat fish that you see, just a very small percentage of the total fish, And then you born in the fish, you see what happens. You are a fish, there are bigger fish. And the bigger fish will chase you to eat you as food. So you're always living in great fear. And then you cari makan also difficult. You think you at your home or your mother can buy Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's for you. No such thing. You can watch TV. Cannot. Every day you used to live that life there, swimming here, swimming there in the ocean or in the sea, and then always afraid that it will happen, that the big fish will come and eat you. Not only that, human beings will catch you again, cook curry chicken, curry fish, right? And then some have the hobbies. We don't encourage this hobby. Go fishing. Fishing, you see the hook and the bait, right? But of course, you're so hungry and you look at the food, everything. So you go and you as a fish, go and bite at the food. And then the hook onto your throat. So painful, everything. And the fisherman is laughing and you are crying as a fish that is caught. So a lot of dangers. And then people put poisons and all the nonsense thing into the river, your home, Wow, you cannot breathe and you can even be poisoned to death. All sorts of nonsense, People shit onto the river. So, and then one day you swim, you go and touch the shit. All sorts of terrible things will happen in the animal realm. And likewise for all other animals in the jungle, I have no time to tell you a lot of this. So remember, it's not good to be born as an animal. To be born as a god, a deva, or as a human being. We can think, all right? But then, as you know, we must do good lah. Then now let us go on to, I think, come to the last slide already. Now, so I hope from this story you can learn important Dhamma lessons, right? And of course, here you can see, let's not go into the Dhamma lesson, the last slide yet. I want to tell you that this poor, we always have compassion for the animals. The donkey, of course, is leading. Of course, he will be fed by the owner, but his work is to carry loads of things until the fella dies or too old cannot carry already. So is that a good life? You think the donkey will be brought by the man to go to a shop or restaurant or big shop during that time to go and eat? No such thing, isn't it? You feed him on the grass and so on. And you think like now people bring the children to the theme park, to Sunway like Lagoon, or even to Disneyland overseas. You think the animal donkey sometimes he will let's say the donkey in the park he has to do the work every time letting people having donkey rides until when the night comes the back also aching so terrible why people earn their money through making use of the donkey to offer donkey rides or sometimes also horse rides as I told you. So you think of all this clearly. It's not good to be born as an animal. The worst one is to be born in hell. People who kill, torture people, or do terrible things that make others suffer. Do so often. They can be reborn in hell. And then the next suffering state, second worst, is the animal realm already. Because this animal realm, as I told you some examples, so much suffering, isn't it? And in the animal realm, you find the life. Of course, you have a certain lifespan now. Then they can be reborn again and again as animals. So it's so terrible. So don't think it's good to be born as an animal, right? And of course, then you have the other suffering state, the ghosts, right? The ghosts also, right? Be reborn as a ghost because they don't have enough good karma, or they become too attached and they are wandering, suffering also, right? So the animals, you find many people get the wrong idea. But of course, sometimes some animals are a bit lucky. Right? The dog are born into a rich family who can sleep on the bed as the owner also. But that one very few. You can see so many stray dogs around all over the world. Most dogs are suffering. Only just a handful because all beings also have some good karma and bad karma. But then you see, you're born as a lucky dog or a lucky cat. That's just a short span of time. After that, no more blessing already because as a cat and a dog, you can't do the good work like human beings do. Can you ask animal, you go and do the dana for the monks? You cannot. You just live the life as an animal, eat, sleep, and then reproduce, cheat, and then go and sleep. So it's just on and on like that until the animal life gone already. Then next life can be reborn as a more suffering animal. This time are no longer a pet dog or a pet. So it's never good to be born as an animal, right? Because karma is a mixture, some good karma and bad karma. So it was a temporary period of a lucky animal. Human beings, of course, also. Of course, you have the opportunity to develop your mind and then to be reborn even better as a god in heaven or even as a more fortunate human being, even though, let's say, suppose now not so fortunate. So you have this chance because you have a mind and you can decide to do the good and do very little bad. Cut all the bad and do all the more the good. Then you know you'll be reborn better and better and better as human beings or even as gods. And of course, finally, is to become Buddha or Arahant. No longer reborn in this. You reach the highest state, Nibbana, higher than all the heavens, and it is timeless. That means forever and ever in Nibbana already. All right. So you can learn some important Dhamma by reflecting. Just don't know the story. So I hope that you have followed the story very well. Now we go to the most important slide, and that is the Dhamma lesson, right? So we come to slide number 12. Ah, moral lessons to learn. And you can say they are actually also Dhamma lessons. Morality is a very important thing in Dhamma. Sila, isn't it? So when you learn moral lessons, you are learning Dhamma also. Right. But then, of course, there may be some non-Buddhists watching. So moral lessons easier for them. Actually, the Dhamma incorporates very important morality. All religions, as you know very well, teach morality, isn't it? Very important. In Pali, the word is sila. I think you know very well as lay Buddhists, you always observe the precepts, the 5 precepts, remember? No killing, no stealing or taking what is not given to you, no sexual misconduct. Of course, you children don't really go and do adultery, take somebody's wife. But let's say you think of simple things. I've also known of young girls, standard 5, standard 6, they go and disturb the lower 6 boys, Huh? Go and say, hố leng chai, touch the faces, all this. That is also not good. That is not a good action. It's not adultery, but then you are in a way molesting because you can touch this boy, you are only in the primary school. Right? So the one, the sexual misconduct will be more for the adults, I say lah, you can say. But nowadays children also, they do all themselves, yeah, already also, primary school children also. So you have to be careful, don't do this bad thing. And then of course, no lying. The one is very easy to understand. I posted, remember the important story, the boy who cried wolf? And then also, apart from just no lying in the 4th precept, you must not talk bad about other people, carry tales, cause people to quarrel and fight. That is a bad action. And then you must not use bad words, harsh words. Words that hurt other people, you scold people, you shout at people, you curse people, you condemn people. That's not good. Using very harsh words that cause people suffering. And some words, some also use bad words. I have heard these students using all the bad words and then cause other people to feel uneasy. Those who are good people, you see these words, using all the bad words. Scold the mother using bad words, scold the father, scold other. All those things are not good action. And then the point of the right speech is don't gossip. Some like to gossip. Caring, I want to call it spreading rumors. All those things not beneficial at all. You should try to speak good words, words that can benefit people. Of course, the best if you can help to spread the Dhamma, good words to teach people even good Dhamma. That is very good action. So that is the speech. Action, the speech. And then the mind, also you must be careful. Don't be greedy. Don't always want this, want that. And then don't get angry. Don't be hateful. Or some people have so many enemies. Wow, that's not good. Don't have ill will. Don't have cruel thoughts. So that is greed, anger. Greed, even young children also we find. I know in the Sunday school, sometimes I teach, I find some like angels. Let's say on occasions like Vesak Day or Ulabana and so on. So the children have a lot of goodies given to them, cakes, sweets, biscuits, all packed out together. Then sometimes I just want to learn certain things. I approach certain my Sunday school students. I say, 小孩子，给老师一点一点吃可以，不要不要You find the greed there already. No, right? You don't want to give. Whereas the others are different, They say, 老师brother你拿这个啦 and some so good the angels one, you don't have to ask they come and say brother would you like to eat this, but the one very rare one in a few thousand maybe. So you see, all these have to be learned. Parents, grandparents have to teach them. So these are the angels. So you see, greed, hatred, delusion. Delusion, of course, I won't go into a deep level. But here you can think of it as very foolish, do foolish things, stupid things, when kill insects, and then not mindful, cross the roads without looking carefully, and then some young ones also start drinking, huh? And then some very proud, always boasting, all these will be not good in their minds, wrong views, not very, very useful. Anyway, I'm just telling you about some very important moral principles or moral precepts you have to follow. Now let us go to the actual 3 moral lessons I have put down for you to learn and remember. Just not learn only like that, just not, I'm not interested in you going to sit for exam and get A. More important is you transform your character, your conduct into good children, good young boys and girls. And then later on, you'll be very happy and successful. So let's look at the first one. Do not be lazy. Now, this story, of course, you find is a lazy donkey. So you find that laziness is a cause of failures. Very important cause. Opposite is diligent. Diligent means to be industrious, to be hardworking, rajin, berusaha. So you find that all successful people, great scientists, great writers, great sportsmen, you think they don't have to put in the work? Even though you win the gold in the Olympics, they have to train how many hours a day? Or maybe the champion badminton player in Malaysia, you think no need to go for training? Lazy, watch TV lah, play with my smartphone lah, chit-chat with my girlfriend on the Facebook lah. You have that sort of attitude, you'll never be successful. Of course, there will be certain times where you can relax lah. But there are a lot of times where you have to put in the work. Look at all the young students that do so well in their examinations and then also do very well in whatever they do, project and everything, always praised by the teachers. You think they are lazy ones? No. They are very, very hardworking. I've taught more than 40 years. I find that all those very successful ones, they are hardworking. I haven't met one that is lazy and then had become very successful. No. Right? So diligence, and likewise also in your Dhamma practice. If you want to progress in your religion, in the Dhamma practice, diligence is one, if not the most important quality you must develop. Without the diligence, you go backwards. That's why they say, if I ask you, as lazy as you say, oh, I know, as lazy as a pig. Because you look at the pig's life, does it do all the good work that a human being can do? Dana, or maybe when serve people, clean the floor, we cannot. It's just to eat, shit, pass water, you see, sleep, right? And then reproduce, and then after that, sleep, eat, shit, right? It doesn't even know how to take its own bath, the owner, the pig rearers, and then waiting for the time where they will be slaughtered to be sold as pork later on. So that is terrible. Here is quite obvious case that to be born as a pig is terrible. So that's why you have the saying, do not be lazy as a pig. It's not that we look down upon animals. We're just telling you the facts as they are, right? Some animals, maybe they are more hardworking, but they are forced to, like cows or sheep and so on. Or cows, especially bullocks, so bulls and so on, or horses and so. They're forced to work. So that's very important thing. Remember, do not be lazy. You need to be disciplined. Right? And like homework, for example, some people, some students are very lazy. They say, "Nah, lah, do later lah." They will spend their time watching the TV and then playing with the smart games, with the smartphone with for the games and so. A lot of all those things don't benefit you, are not beneficial to help you to grow in your character and your mind. And for example, if you don't do your homework regularly, properly, some leceh, simply do lah last moment because you're lazy ma. And then gets punished by the teachers. Right? And then it brings unhappiness to the parents. Which parent likes a lazy son or daughter? Nobody is. So be careful about that. So this story is about the lazy donkey, and you knew lah. He was thinking of ways to escape the work. So now, I hope you understand this point. Let us now go on to the next Dhamma lesson. Do not cheat others. That is a very important thing. And in the story, you can see it's quite obvious right? That the donkey was trying to trick the owner, isn't it? First time it was accidentally falling into the river. But then after that, some unwholesome thought entered the mind, simple mind of the donkey. Now I have a way. I can escape my hard work of carrying all those heavy. Every time I slip into the water, then the load will become heavier. So tipu already lah, right? Tipu the owner. But then in the end, what happens? The owner found out lah. I taught the player a lesson, isn't it? So this cheating, all this, there's a price to pay. So the story is very clear in the sense that the donkey was trying to tipu, to cheat, right? And now let's apply it into our human level. And this actually pertains to, let's say, two precepts. The second precept is do not steal. Do not take things that are not given to you. So cheating is connected, isn't it? And connected with the fourth one also. Right? You cheat other people of the goods. You go and steal, right? And then scam, con man. So they are cheating, isn't it? They will tell you, oh, you want to become rich. You invest. You put in some money as a form of saving. Then I will go and invest your money. Then you will get tenfold more, And then some people are greedy. Right? The person is not telling the truth. That's why it's also pertain to the fourth precept of lying. So lying, cheating, stealing, all these are unwholesome actions. They will have bad consequences, bad karma. And today you hear of so many scams. People who are out to cheat you, you have to be careful. Like young men, maybe 17, 18, so many cases, they fall into the job scams. So they read from Facebook or newspaper or whatever, news or whatever, advertisements and so on from the media. And then they say, wow, this job in Cambodia can offer 1 month, wow, 6,000-7,000. No, here my pay less than $500 only. But they don't know there are people who are out to cheat. So you're not careful, you don't have the wisdom. So they fall for the trap lah. So they will go to these countries like Cambodia or maybe Vietnam or some other countries, and then they find out they are cheated. They are made to do those terrible type of work. One day, maybe 18 hours, to try to cheat other people, or to run the scams, phone calls to cheat people, and so on. A lot of these cases, millions of dollars people have lost because they become victims of these scams and con man shows. So you see, these people who earn their money by cheating others, causing suffering, definitely, isn't it? You are not honest, you cheat people, you get the people to go and do all the sincere work, and you cause suffering to the poor fella. And that fella, because of ignorance, being cheated. And then he's forced to cheat. So it's cause and effect. You're not careful, you don't have the wisdom, then you become victims. And then these people who cheat cause suffering to not only the young people who are scammed, but also their family members. The mother will be worried to death, man. If the son now suffering in Cambodia. And then after that, ransom will come and say, oh, you want to see your son back, you have to send 20,000, everything, otherwise you will not see your son again. They are victims of this scam. So the cheating causes suffering to other people. In the story, of course, the donkey cheating like this, causing the salt to dissolve like that. Of course, the man is suffering because he has to lose money for his business. How about animal? He's stupid, right? So that's a very important point you have to note. Do not cheat others. So sometimes when you chant your precepts, first precept, Abanati Pata, Veramani, Sikha, Padang, Samadhi, Yami, and then the precept not to kill. The ones, many other stories have talked about that already. I say, oh, but then do you really think about that and make sure you don't really kill? Of course, you don't kill the human beings, but have you killed insects? Have you just simply, go and kill a small kitten or thing like that, or birds and so on, or torture? If you don't kill a good torture, do you do that? So when you chant the precept, you must think about that. And then the second one is, do not steal or do not take what is not given. So that one also very important. That pertains to the second one. Third one is the sexual misconduct. The fourth one is not to lie. The lying, actually, you find that many people lie in order to cheat people of their money, their goods, and so on. So you see, that's why the 5 precepts are prescribed, so that you would not do those unwholesome actions that will cause you suffering, not only in this life, but in future lives also, when you get reborn into suffering states. This life itself, you find that later on the law may catch up upon you. You kill, or you steal, or you take somebody's wife later when you grow up. Right? Don't do that. Or you tell lies in court, right? Or you slander people, talk so nonsense thing bad about other people. People sue you, then you end up fine or jail or whatever. And then you break the 5th precept. The 5th precept is not drinking until mabo, and then after that you cheat people, or you fight with others, quarrel. So the 5th one is also very important. So that is the second Dhamma lesson you learn. I told you this slide is the most important, but some no patience, they won't go to the end. So they just look at the PowerPoint, the Rikasa, no explanation on the one. Dishonesty brings suffering. Tidak jujur membawa penderitaan. Now, this is actually the law of karma. The law of karma is the law of moral causation, cause effect in terms of morality. Do good, you reap the good. Do bad, and the bad comes upon you. Or there is a saying, even in Christianity, you reap what you sow. You plant a rambutan seed, you get a rambutan tree. You plant a durian seed, you get a durian, right? So whatever that you get, right, as the consequence depends on what you do, on your actions, in terms of your mind, your mental actions, and then your speech, what you say, and then what you do. So this dishonesty is how I say, mostly pertain to the second and the fourth precept of stealing, cheating, swindling, con people, right? Scam people, and then lying. So what sort of states you can be reborn? Suffering states. If you steal, then of course the rebirth will not be good. Let's say you have done some good. Some people steal, but they still do some good things, you see, right? Some people lie, but they still do some good things. But then when you get reborn, let's say you're so fortunate because you have some blessings, some good karma, you get reborn as a human being, but you will not be a really blessed human being. You may be born very poor because you used to steal things from people. You cheat people of money. Then you never do dana. You never help other people. But you have done some good things also. You never kill, right? You don't commit sexual misconduct. You never drink. But you like to lie, let's say. And then cheat people also. But you don't do that much dana. So you can be born as a human being, but suffering one. Poor. And then when you want to start a business, your business failed. People lie to you because you've been lying. How many lives already? They tell you all the lies, and then cheat you of your business. Actually, it's very interesting. It's cause effect, cause effect. You don't want something, you better don't go and do that thing. You don't want to be poor, then you don't go and do things that make other people poor. You rob people, or you steal people's things. You want long life, then make sure you don't take people's life or take a being, animal's life also. Then you see, that's why then you can understand. That's why I used to wonder, why some people live so old, and then some ayo, just born out also, just a few months die already. Then people I was taught, oh, it's due to God. The God has all the power to decide. To me, it's not very logical. The poor people come into life as a baby, just a few years old. The person has not even the opportunity or the chance how to do bad, But yet the person is suffering, sickness and all those things. Then when I learned the law of karma, in the scriptures, Buddha explained very clearly. We are all connected to the past, our past life. So that's why I say in the past life, you're supposed to be very stingy, never do dana and so on. Then even let's say you are lucky to be born human being, then you find that's why you some are born as a very, very poor person in Africa and so on. But it's not the end, because you can change it. Now, some people poor, but because they diligent already, then the karma change already. Karma is something alive, you can change. It's not fixed already that forever you be poor. Yeah, born poor, everything, yeah. But no point you are cursing and say, why my God, no, let me born in this type of situation. All this, you make it worse. You accept it, that we are responsible, but we can change it. You do something positive. That's why you have poor people suffering. And I've posted stories on that also, right? But later on become so successful, millionaires, everything. Why? They follow precepts, right? And then they're very diligent. Of course, when they're poor, they couldn't do much dana, but they still can help people, They cannot afford the money, but they go and help. Right? So you see, important thing is, as all Buddha's teacher, do good, avoid evil, and develop and purify the mind so that you have your wisdom arising. So when wisdom arises, then you know what to do and what you should not do. That's why all Buddhas teach this. You follow this, you're on the right track. Your life will be successful, and future births will be good. And you will have lived a meaningful, worthy life. Some great monks, Chief Reverend Dhammananda, Bhante Suwano, Ajahn Dhammamudo, all passed away, but they had lived, contributed so much for the peace, happiness of so many people who have problems. So that is a fantastic life, isn't it? So remember this, all Buddhas teach this. Do good. I think you know already, I've done so many posts on what is meant by doing good. Avoid evil. Avoid the bad things. I just mentioned already, I'll skip the 5 precepts. And then the last one is the most tricky, to develop and purify the mind so that your wisdom will arise and you can see things more clearly, and you will know what to do and what not to do to avoid unhappiness, suffering, not only in this life but future life. So these are the 3 things to remember. And the last one, just to give you some good Dhamma, how to get the last one. The last one, you have to learn, understand, reflect, think carefully about the Dhamma that you learn, either through Sunday school or through the books that you read or through some good Dhamma presentation on the YouTube, on the internet. But most people want to just do all the play, the games, everything, all those stuff. Once a while, all right. But they don't go and bother to learn anything Dhamma. Right? And then, of course, meditation. How many people do that? So you find the minds don't develop. They may study at the university. They may become professors. But you also have people with PhD study a lot and they become terrorists also. So the mind is not developed. The mind is not purified. Even though you study and maybe you become a professor also. Right? Or maybe you become a prime minister, president, but they do a lot of terrible things that cause other people to suffer, isn't it? So the mind is not developed, the mind is not purified. you would not have lived life well. There's a price to pay. You will face your suffering in this life and also in future lives. So now we have come to the end of this presentation already. So before we say sadhu 3 times, right, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all you children and students, Buddhist Sunday School, Dhamma classes, and also all the parents and grandparents may be following with the objective of learning also to convey these important lessons to the young ones, the grandchildren, or their children. And also, of course, to the teachers of Buddhist Sunday School, Dhamma classes who have done fantastic work, very meritorious deeds to try to give the children the moral lessons, or what we call the Dhamma. The Dhamma is the greatest gift. Right? The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts, right? Because it transforms the mind. The benefits come not only in this life, but life to life. You carry on the good things that you have learned. So now let us hold our palms and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Take care.